Okay, well, today is Monday, April the 25th, 2022. And right now at, what do we got here, about 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. on the West Coast, we have a temperature of 66 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 33%. The dew point is 36 degrees, and we have a barometric pressure of 29.92 inches. All right, so I think I mentioned in the last video that we had some rain. We did have some rain, and I believe that was on Thursday night into Friday morning, April 21st. We had 0.36 inches. That brings the yearly total from January to 3.34 inches, which is very little rain. January and February are typically the wettest months for California, and yet we have only 3.342 inches on the chart for the calendar year. Now, for the season, which we start measuring on July 1st, the total is 17.71 inches. Okay, so that's pretty good. But the problem is that the rain has not been spread out in a consistent way. It came all at once at the end of December. The last couple of weeks of December, we had quite a bit of rain. So anyhow, what we're looking at right now is the Doppler map for the Louisiana area, and we can see that two WSR88Ds are affecting the precipitation totals, not only here in Lake Charles, which, let me get the list here. The Lake Charles transmitter in Louisiana has a call sign of KLCH, and then there's another transmitter up here which I haven't yet located by name, but there's only 4 transmitters in Louisiana. We have the Fort Polk, and then we have Lake Charles, which is down there. We just looked at that. And then we have the New Orleans transmitter, and it doesn't seem to be that transmitter, and it could also be Shreveport. Let's see. If anybody's familiar with that lives in this area, let us know in the comments where this. Well, it's not Shreveport. That's way up here. I'm not too familiar with Louisiana, but this is the central point. This is the transmitter location right here. We can see that by these arcs. The evaporation pattern gives us the clues of where this thing is originating. But obviously, there's a transmitter right here. It's near Simpson, right on near Highway 28 there, or maybe off of 121. Somewhere right around here, we see there's it's probably near right about here where the hand is. Okay, so that's what's going on live right now, and we have another interesting anomaly here in the. Well, this is not an anomaly. These are microwave transmitters that are affecting the precipitation amounts around the country. So we see here what's happening during the severe weather that we've been hearing about in the eastern area of the country. Most of the time, those WSR88Ds are not operational. Okay, we can see that these thunderstorms span all the way from northern Alabama, all the way up through Kentucky, and all the way up into Ohio and Pennsylvania, and out through western New York and up into Canada. So those folks are all getting rain. Out here on the west, it's very dry. We had a lot of chemtrail aerosol spraying all day long today. We can see there's a transmitter up here in Northern California, which is creating some interesting cutouts in the pattern there, the precipitation. The Chico transmitter is not producing that this cutout. This is something else, and I can't tell you what it is actually. Okay, so the Chico transmitter is right, or rather the Oroville transmitter is right here next to a golf course and the airport. So this is something else going on. All right, so that's the outlook for the Doppler map. Let's go ahead and today we could see the moisture field moving in off of the Pacific. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map here. This is one of the maps. We have the Longwave IR. This is the continental U.S. We see a big low pressure system there, pulling all sorts of moisture up towards that vortex. High pressure is being installed in this area, so all that wind, there's going to be a lot of wind where that high pressure goes in adjacent to that vortex right here. This is where they're installing the high pressure to prevent this frontal system from winding back into the vortex. You can see the right angle there. Out here on the west coast, we see the moisture moving in. This morning, we saw all sorts of the jets were up spraying the chemtrail aerosols for half of the day. After about 11 a.m., we saw the jets just spraying all over the place, and that lasted for several hours. By the late afternoon, things began to clear up a little bit, but obviously this is a rain opportunity that was once again prevented by the deep state weather controllers that are controlling our weather, modifying our weather patterns. They call that climate change on the fake news, but here it is right here. This is a rain right here moving in, and the jets were up spraying to ensure that not a drop of rain fell. We had near whiteout conditions, and so there it is. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Modus Today map, which, by the way, was blocked out. If we back out of this, let's see if that'll work. Give that a minute. Let that reload. But there it is. So we have all this rain opportunity moving in. There's Los Angeles is right down here. This is Lompoc right there. Point Conception, I believe, is, yeah, Los Angeles is right there. This is where Vandenberg Air Force Base is right there. Anyhow, all this should have brought some rain to the Southern California area and also to Central California. You see that there was nothing, no rain. And we can see the jets up spraying, and we'll show that here in the Modus Today map. So this is the, let's go back one more here. We can see the entire country for today. Anytime we have heavy spraying and a moisture field that really should have brought rain, they don't show us anything. They block it all out. But if we click on the, right here, we can see that in Nevada and California, Oregon, there's a lot of spraying going on associated with all that moisture that moved into California. So let's go ahead and click on that, and we'll zoom it in max and show you what it looks like. For all the new viewers that might be on the channel, we can show you here, there's a distinct difference between the natural clouds, which is the brilliant white right here. All these clouds right here, those are natural clouds that move in. And we see here this gray crap is the chemtrail aerosols, which are sprayed by the specially equipped jets. And we can see that haze, we can see the streaks. Just panning around, you can see all the streaks running every which way. So the jets are up spraying today. They were dispatched, and we see all this, and that prevented the lift. Once again, you have to have two components for precipitation. You have to have lift in the atmosphere, and you have to have moisture in the atmosphere. So we had the moisture moving in. We can see that all right here, moving into California. But there's no lift because these chemtrail aerosols, they cap the atmosphere, trap the heat, and prevent the precipitation process, which relies on lift in the atmosphere. So it's very simple, but this is what they're doing. And of course, this is one reason why we don't see these satellite maps on the fake news television. These phony meteorologists are giving us crap weather reports. They're not discussing or even questioning why these jets are up doing what they're doing, leaving these long, non-dissipating trails, which are not contrails, by the way. You'll notice that the jets spray immediately a day or two before these large moisture fields move in. In this case, we see a low pressure system, a frontal system moving in. Once again, there's no rain, except for very northern California. There we see a little bit, but it's being modified, manipulated. We can see these straight edges and cutouts. Could have been a satellite just flying overhead zapped this area. A lot of times those satellites leave imprints, right angle imprints. You see that quite often, actually. Let's let this refresh. Let's see here. This is the one I want right there. We can see the right angle form right there. That's how these weather controllers separate these frontal systems from the low pressure area. They install the high pressure from a satellite based transmitter. Could be laser, it could be microwave. If you look at the playlist on this channel, you'll find some very interesting information, news articles about birds, flocks of birds, thousands of birds falling out of the sky dead. And the mainstream media can't seem to come up with any kind of answer that makes sense. Well, the answer that makes sense is that these satellite transmitters are superheating the water vapor in the air, and if there's a flock of birds that happen to be under that cone of microwave energy or laser, they're going to be superheated. All the arteries and capillaries, the blood instantly heats, and you have a stroke condition where the blood boils and the capillaries burst, the blood pressure drops, and the birds fall out of the sky. So check out the playlist on this channel. There's a lot of interesting research and information to look at besides these videos. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. We'll continue to cover the weather here as best we can with the time that we have. And we see some, this is a very large thunderstorm, kind of a supercell developing right there over southern Texas and Mexico. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Usually those satellites will superheat these systems when they develop, and we'll see a pressure wave that radiates outward from the edge of that. Okay. All right, we'll just leave it right here. That's it.